We now know that Fannie Mae is using artificial intelligence to review appraisal reports. And then what? We know for a fact that it's only going to increase, not just with Fannie Mae, but with HUD and with VA and with big banks and with AMCs and with every other entity you can imagine.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome back to the program, you all, or as they say in the South, y'all. We're going to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence today. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how it's already being used in the appraisal profession, even on the highest levels. I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a couple of great companies, including my E&O of choice, which is OREP. Find out more at orep.org, OREP.org. And of course, Alamode is the software that I have been using for many years, and you should be as well. Find out more at alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. I know, folks. Dustin, are you seriously going to talk about AI again? Speaking of technology, let me move that camera a little bit. Let's go this way. There we go. A little better? There we go. If you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, hey, good to see you. I am at home today. I've only got two cameras at home. There's a little bit of a slight delay when we switch back and forth between the two cameras, but I don't do too many podcasts from home, so I'm not inclined to fix it anytime soon. So you just have to put up with it. But all right, let's talk about technology today a little bit. Let's talk about AI. Just for definitions, if you've not been listening over the last several months, I've talked a lot about AI, which of course is artificial intelligence, talked about ML, which is machine learning. We talked a lot about ChatGPT. I've got a lot of criticism about my talk about ChatGPT. Oh my gosh, it's going to take over the world. We're going to talk a little bit about that today because, folks, I have never not acknowledged that AI can be a threat to appraisers. In fact, I did I believe it was a mini-sode. It was an episode that I did on artificial intelligence, and specifically, I talked about how I was not worried about ChatGPT taking the jobs of appraisers, and I got a little bit of criticism from that, even by my friends who reached out and said, "Dustin, I disagree with you, Dustin. It will take over some appraiser jobs," and I said, wait a second. I didn't say it wasn't going to take over some jobs of some appraisers. I said I wasn't worried about it taking over the jobs of appraisers. That's a big distinction. And I know it sounds like the same thing. And I certainly understand why people thought they heard one thing. But what I actually meant, and this is my belief on this, is the jobs that it's going to take are the box checker appraisers who really have never done a great job as appraisers anyway. And frankly, good riddance. Sorry, I'm just going to say good riddance to the appraisers who are not really appraisers, who are form fillers, who don't really understand the valuation world. And yes, those types of cookie cutter appraisers are probably going to lose their job in the next few years. I'm 100% convinced of that. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about those appraisers losing their jobs because, frankly, we could use less box checkers and more valuation professionals. Okay, there, I've said it. Now, let's talk about what's going on currently, because some of you have reached out and said, Dustin, I'm worried that AI is going to infiltrate everything that we do, and then we as appraisers won't be independent anymore, and on and on and on. Folks, first of all, let me pause here, slow down just a little bit, to acknowledge that those fears, I think some of those fears are valid. I do. I think some of those fears need to be considered. I think some of those fears we need to step back a little bit and say, you know what, there's some validity in what is being said, and we need to explore what that means for us into the future. Now, where I get a little disgruntled is when people reach out to me, kind of the Chicken Little, the sky is falling, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And there's no solutions out there. Folks, that has never worked in all the years since Chicken Little was written. The problem with that type of fear-based concern is that it's simply rooted in fear with no solution. I taught my staff years ago that if you're going to come to the boss with problems, you should at least have one potential solution to the problem. Okay. Not that I don't want to hear about the problems. I do. But what gets really old is constantly hearing about the problems with whatever, fill in the blank, and then dumping that on the boss to say, even though they may not use these words out loud, the implication is fix it. Here's the problem, Dustin. Now fix it. You're the boss. You fix it. I, years ago, taught my staff to come to me with problems. Yes, we want to hear about the problems, but we also want to hear about potentials. Even if it's a bad solution, even if it's not going to work, at least I want to hear that you've thought through something, right? At least I want you to say, hey, here's a problem, and this is probably not a great solution, but here's a potential thing we could explore, okay? Now, same is true with those individuals who are within my listening audience who have reached out to me privately or publicly, received a lot of public criticism on this, and fine, whatever. I painted a target on my back when I started doing this coaching thing. I get it, right? It's okay. I'm tough. Used to bother me, doesn't anymore. Reach out, criticize me. I'm still going to sleep well tonight. Okay. My goal has always been to give you information to help you to be a better business owner, a better appraiser, more successful, make more money. That's always been my goal. And so if you can give me criticism that will help me to do that better, great. But that's not what's going on. Unfortunately, what's going on is I'm getting a lot of criticism. I'm getting a lot of backlash from people complaining, oh my gosh, AI is going to ruin the world. And okay, what are you going to do about it? That's my question in return. So will I acknowledge that the landscape of appraisers is changing because of machine learning, because of artificial intelligence? Yes, even because of ChatGPT. Absolutely, 100%. I have been on record on this microphone saying that those individuals that are going to lose their job into the future are those that are not going to or not willing to learn and embrace new technology, including AI, including machine learning, including things like ChatGPT. Those that are going to have a job into the future acknowledge that this is simply reality. It is reality that the world as we know it is changing. This is not your daddy's appraisal business anymore. Those of you like me who were raised in this in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2000 teens, and into 2020s, our world is changing. It has been for many years. Many of you are going to sit back and say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You're telling me I don't have to go out and do the inspection? How am I ever going to do an appraisal if I don't do the inspection? You're telling me that I can't drive comp photos anymore? How am I ever going to? Now, that's not true yet, but I'm hoping that's coming. Anyway, are you telling me that a computer is going to do part of the appraisal? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Folks, trust me when I say this. Those that are going to be successful into the future are people like those in my mastermind groups, are people like in my all-star team group, the people who get it. Right? Nobody's going to come and open up their wallet to the appraiser coach and join my teams and travel to distant cities and sit in a boardroom where we plan and strategize how to best make you specifically successful in your business that are the Chicken Little types. They just don't last. I've had a couple sneak in. We do a pretty thorough screening. I've had a couple sneak in, and guess what? They don't last more than one meeting because that's not what we're about. We're not about Chicken Little, sky is falling. We are about reality. We are about acknowledging it. We're about understanding how we can now say, okay, what does this mean for me as a business owner moving forward? Speaking of being a business owner and moving forward, how are you dealing with, sorry, those of you who are on YouTube, I just clicked on the video. I'm broadcasting from my home today. It's not my same studio, and yes, it's a little bit cumbersome. It's not the same setup that I've got at my office, so forgive me. All right, business owners, how are you dealing with your software problems? How are you dealing with the number one tool that you use for your report writing? If it is not in a la mode, folks, you are missing the boat. They have the best customer service out there. I saw a note on social media the other day, somebody who had been with another company, not a la mode, for a very long time, and they said, I am sick and tired of it. I've got problems all the time. Now, any software is going to have some issues. A la mode deals with those issues quickly and without concern. Check them out by going to alamode.com, or you can pick up the phone. You can call them. They are nice people. They will chat with you. alamode.com or 800-ALA-MODE. I know you don't like to think about E&O unless you need it. But folks, when you need it, you need it. I'm telling you, I have needed it. And I am so grateful that I've been with OREP. They have treated me like a king. They are not an insurance company that's going to look for every opportunity to get out of something. Quite the opposite. They will dive in head first to help you with whatever problem that you've got. If you are with any other appraisal E&O out there, I promise you, you're with the wrong E&O. The only right E&O is OREP. Check them out by going to orep.org. That's OREP.org. All right. Welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. Yes, we're talking once again about artificial intelligence. Yes, I do talk about other things. I do, promise you. I know it seems like a lot because it's new, and we're talking a lot about it because I do believe it's going to change the future. One of the concerns that is out there is, what about when the GSEs start to use AI? What about when these big lenders start to use AI? What about when the AMCs start to use AI? And guess what, folks? It's not about when, it's about they already have. Okay. On the latest, as of this recording, June 2023 appraiser update through Fannie Mae. Okay. The appraisal update newsletter, June 2023. You can check this out. There is an article. You have to kind of scroll down. I think it's on page, 4 on 3. Okay. The title is Using Image Recognition Technology in Appraisal Report Reviews. Again, I want to tell you where you can find this in case you want to follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chime ring like this. Ring. Appraiser Update Newsletter, June 2023. Check it out. Using Image Recognition Technology in Appraisal Report Reviews. And I know some of you are like, what does that have to do with ChatGPT? Again, folks, I didn't say anything about ChatGPT. I did say something about artificial intelligence. And if this is not the epitome of artificial intelligence, AI, then you don't know what artificial intelligence is. Currently, as I record this, Fannie Mae is using AI on appraisal reports that are submitted to them. Okay. I cannot say it more emphatically. It was not even stated that way. There is nothing in this newsletter that says the term artificial intelligence. It doesn't say AI anywhere. I did a word search. Trust me, folks, it's not there. Instead, they talk about the differences between quality and condition in your appraisal report, specifically comparing the subject to the comps. Okay. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, Dustin, I only take pictures of the comps from the outside, maybe a street photo, right? But I don't take pictures of the inside, and I do take pictures of all of the interior of my subject. So how in the world is Fannie Mae comparing the subject to the comps? And the answer is, folks, if you don't think Fannie Mae has access to your MLS, you're fooling yourself. I know that firsthand because I got a letter from Fannie Mae recently who quoted specifically the name of the MLS that I had used and found a comp that I couldn't find. Okay. And I told them so. I said, I've searched. Give me the MLS number. They couldn't, but they are using the MLS that you have. Very specifically, they have access. And as you all know, in the MLS listings, 9 times out of 10, you've got interior photos. This article goes on to say that their technology, again, they don't use the terms AI, but that's exactly what this is, that they are taking your photos from your appraisal and they are comparing them to the comps that you might have used. And if you've got, let's say, a C3 on your subject and you've got a C3 in your comp, okay, they're comparing to see how closely those kitchens or bathrooms or other living spaces compare. Now, I think they have cherry-picked a bit of the example photos that they've used here. I hope this is not the case most of the time. They're kind of making it sound like that, right? They're kind of making, if you read the article, they kind of make it sound like appraisers are pulling a fast one on us, okay? And they use this example of a subject, a real subject, okay? And they show this kitchen, and I know this is audio, okay? You know what? For those of you who are on YouTube, let me do this. I'm gonna actually show this to you, okay? Because I think this is funny to see. So those of you who are on YouTube, let's go share screen. Let's go right here. Okay, you should be able to see this now, okay? So what you're seeing in front of you is a subject kitchen. Now, those of you who are on audio, don't worry, I'll describe what we're looking at here, okay? So this kitchen looks like it came right out of the 1960s, okay? Linoleum white countertops, very dark, well, maybe 80s, okay? Very dark cabinetry, white appliances, stainless steel sink on top of the countertops. You can tell that they're not solid surface. Okay, I mean, this thing is old. This thing is not in great shape. Okay, and I'm not sure what they say. Let me just look here. The following photos show an example of an appraisal flagged by the image recognition. The property is a 51-year-old, maintained but not remodeled, and rated C3 by the appraiser. Appraiser also rated all the comparables in the report C3 as well. Okay, so the first comparable that they show, I mean, come on, folks. This is a brand new kitchen. It looks like quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, beautiful. I mean, beautiful white counters, white cabinetry rather. Beautiful home. Okay, and yet they said that they're the exact same. Now, part of this has to do with condition. Part of this has to do with quality. Okay, and we need to distinguish between the two. I've scrolled down a little bit. If you're on YouTube, you see the subject bathroom. We're talking. It looks like throw up wallpaper. Yellow, orange, green, kind of all mixed together and splattered against the wall. A very old linoleum or vinyl laminate, probably laminate countertop. An old porcelain sink. Kind of an aqua tile in the shower area. I mean, okay, sure, great, comparable bathroom. Yeah, I mean, do I even need to describe this? I mean, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful glass shower with two-tone tile and a standalone tub, and beautiful porcelain sinks, and looks like solid surface countertops. You get the point, right? Now, again, I want to be very clear. I do believe that they probably cherry-picked this stuff. Okay, I do believe that they said, give me the most erroneous example that we can possibly find out there, and let's show these appraisers what's going on. Okay, I get it. Nice try, Fannie Mae. That's nice of you. Okay, great. I doubt that's happening all the time, and that's not even the point of the podcast today. Okay, the point of the podcast is not to encourage you to do better with your quality and condition, though I hope there's a secondary lesson in that as well. The point of the podcast today is to say, it's very clear. Fannie Mae is using AI currently to look at your photos. Now, I'm guessing it's using AI in other aspects of its appraisal report reviews as well. I would say it's a foregone conclusion that is only going to increase. So the question, folks, is this. Instead of being Chicken Little and running around saying, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, my question for you is, what are you going to do about it? Now that you know what you know, I know some of you are going to say, well, I'm just going to quit, Dustin. Forget it. This is gone to the dogs. As soon as you start introducing computers to do all this stuff for you, then what's the purpose of having an appraisal? Okay, great. That's fine. That's great. If that's your attitude, don't let the door hit you on the way out. But those of us who are going to stay around, those of us who want to be a part of this moving forward, my question for you is, and then what? We now know that Fannie Mae is using artificial intelligence to review appraisal reports. And then what? We know for a fact that it's only going to increase, not just with Fannie Mae, but with HUD and with VA and with big banks and with AMCs and with every other entity you can imagine. AI is only going to enhance their ability to, let me back up. Enhance is a subjective word that we could probably do a whole podcast on. Let me say it this way. It is only going to increase their reach when it comes to looking for things and finding things about an appraisal report. My question for you again is, what does that mean for you? What decisions do you need to make because you now have that knowledge? Because you know that AI is being used with Fannie Mae now, and you know for a fact that it's going to only increase as time moves on, you have some decisions to make. I will be here. The All-Star team will be here. My mastermind will be here to help guide you through it. Personal coaching, we can do that as well. My goal is to help you the very best that I possibly can. Thank you for joining me today, folks. It's been a pleasure. Go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.